And we are back. This is, of course, a two-parter. Once again, want to thank Elspeth for coming on to talk about the Patriots with us. Remember, if you want to talk sports with us, make sure you're a fan of a team that we have not covered yet. Come on the show. So, with that being said, a lot happened this last week in sports. Things are getting busy in all four leagues. Let's start with the NFL as always. And Kylie, did you watch any of the Pro Bowl?
I did not. I gave up on watching the Pro Bowl so long ago.
Same here. I watched one play, saw that they weren't even tackling anymore, and turned it off. It's been getting a lot of flack on Twitter. NFL fans are it's kind of this weird war I've noticed in which a lot of players are like, yeah, it's fun. We're basically playing a little game for the fans. The fans, meanwhile, this is awful. This is the same game where Sean Taylor once took a punter's soul, ripped a punter's soul from his body. And you're telling me this is the same game? It's. I get it. Players want to avoid injuries, but we're not really sure.
It's right before. It's at the end of the season, and obviously you don't want to get hurt and everything like that. But at the same time, it's like the NBA has an amazing All-Star week. The MLB does a great job. The NHL does a fantastic job, which we'll talk about in this
a little bit
later today. But it is a very, very physical sport, but so is hockey. Hockey is also very physical.
And it's not just go ahead.
And they still play.
Yeah. I mean, I guess one can make the argument that the NHL All-Star game is a shorter game, but you have a point. They still do play. And it's not just the game itself. All the activities around Pro Bowl weekend just feel the skills showdown just doesn't have that pizzazz that other leagues have. That we always get all hyped up. Even if the dunk contest in the NBA All-Star game, even if that's not that good, which the last couple of years has struggled a bit, we still hype up the dunk contest or the 3-point contest. With here, it's like the precision passing to the dodgeball. Nobody cares.
No.
It's like you say that, it's like, whoa, yay. And
I want to go back to when we were doing the throwing contests.
Yeah.
How far you can throw it.
That's cool. That's cool stuff,
Mahomes will launching outside a freaking stadium, but
I don't know why they don't do this one anymore when they have the linemen or all the big, the big fat guys, chubby guys of the world unite. Woo, chubby guys. Yeah. Sorry. Got a little hype there. I want to have that contest they did where they had those guys pushing giant blocks or something. See who's the strongest. See which one of these 300-pound dudes of pure man muscle are actually the strongest. That would be something cool. But, instead we have to watch, the Diggs brothers, the Diggs brothers play dodgeball. It's I'm not interested in that.
I'd like to see the players in Super Bowl that are in the Super Bowl able to also do the All-Star stuff, the Pro Bowl stuff.
Yeah. They used to be able to because they held it after the Super Bowl, but they don't do that anymore.
Yeah. It'd be cool just because some of them deserve it too. I mean, you have Stafford and Burrow who have had great seasons. You have Jamar Chase, who's been great. There's just so many players that should get the opportunity to do it.
I have a theory that once they took it out of Miami, it went downhill. Because the last great Pro Bowl weekend I remember was 2015. That was when they still held it in. Did I say Miami? I meant Honolulu. Sorry, Hawaii. Yeah. Sorry, Hawaii. When they took it out of Hawaii, everything went crazy. Everything went wrong. The years in Orlando, it was awful. Did they? They didn't go back. No, they didn't. It's
my friend went to the Orlando game last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's just not been fun. And speaking of, people not having fun at the Pro Bowl, I guess, some players really didn't have fun and decided to engage in some other activities because during the Pro Bowl weekend, Alvin Kamara got arrested for assault.
Wasn't it right after the game?
I believe, yeah. It was, it was that Sunday evening. The news broke. He attacked some dude in a club. You showed me the pictures yesterday at work. It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, it looked like it was a dude got messed up, and I don't know. I don't know any of the story, but this looks awful.
Yeah,
and he's facing up to 5 years in prison.
Well, considering recent trends in the NFL of players, getting involved in physical assaults, He probably will have 1 year probation and be back on a football field. Like, I hate to admit
Yeah.
it, but that's the NFL we live in. Players aren't facing consequences for doing stuff like this. And
All
it's a
you have
shame.
to do is not use performance enhancing drugs, not hit your kids, not hit your girlfriend or wife. Like that to me, that seems really simple to not do.
Yeah. And if like this dude came up to him in the middle of a club and like said some shit and set him off, like, okay, I understand you be angry, but dude, you got to be the bigger man and like not like you can't lose your
Know
cool
that
like
you
that.
are a football player and people are
Yeah.
going to be trying to do this to get a reaction out of you.
Nobody's gonna think you're less of a man for not like getting into a physical altercation. People will think you're more of a man for
They'll feel bad for you and be on your side.
you because you show more strength in restraint.
Yeah.
But that's a shame. I liked Alvin Kamara too, but
Yeah, he was fun to watch, but
yeah, I should have known when he was playing for the Saints. That's
the
bad.
Saints hate continues.
It will never end. It will never end. Speaking of NFL players, teams, and organizations being involved in illegal stuff, there are new accusations surrounding Dan Snyder and the dumpster fire that is the Washington Commies. Now, let me just pull this up so I have it. So the allegations, as I pull up ESPN just to remind me, the allegations, the new ones, as I am not finding the article. Give me 1 second. A+ preparation work by us, as you can see. A+ preparation work. I have all the articles pulled up except this one.
I can edit this out. You know that, right?
Yeah, do that. Sorry. Here we go. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. So the allegations is an ex-employee of the Washington football team told members of Congress on Thursday, yes, there was a national inquiry into this, that team owner Daniel Snyder harassed her at a team dinner, then tried to force her into his limo, hired prostitutes at an event at his home, and was involved in hazing an employee who was a recovering alcoholic. Now, the recovering alcoholic stuff I knew about, that had been brought up by commentators for years, but a lot of this stuff is just piling on to the amount of just terrible culture surrounding what the Commanders. And I mean, they really thought that team announcement would hide this getting out, didn't they?
Yeah, they did that with Sean Taylor's jersey retirement too.
It's really disgusting too. Like
it is. It's atrocious.
It's the fact that they have to get Congress involved now. The fact that people are talking in front of a national committee shows you just how deep this is. And honestly, it's like at this point, I would not be surprised if the president of the freaking United States comes in and tells the NFL make him sell the team, because
he really needs to sell the team. I can't stand him.
I don't understand why they can't pull an Adam Stern on Adam Silver on Donald Sterling and be like, you are banned for life, sell the team. I'm just pointing out that actually improved the Clippers. Maybe it'll improve the Commanders. God, it feels weird saying that. The Washington Commanders.
I like it though.
It is a good name. I don't know why people are getting so upset about it. It's a fine name.
Yeah, I like the black jerseys. Maybe they could have done a little something on the sleeves, but like I like the black jerseys a lot.
It could have been better.
Of course, it could always be better. But
and hey, the black jerseys definitely represent the amount of black on their history now.
Right. So we got another joke of an organization with Byron Leftwich pulling out a Jacksonville job. Because Balky won't be fired.
That was so. When I saw that, first of all, Byron Leftwich, I love him.
Right.
I love Byron. Anyone involved with the Bucs organization, I love them as long as they don't go to the Saints. That's where I pull the plug, or the Panthers. Really, if they don't go to one of our rivals, I'm fine with them. But this just shows you just how much of a joke the Jaguars are.
Absolutely.
The fact that Byron Leftwich was their number one choice for head coach, but basically straight up said, yeah, I refuse to go to this organization because you guys won't fire Trent Baalke. Just,
I don't understand why they won't fire him, but we'll get into
I don't think anyone will. I don't understand why not either. You have fans chanting "Fire Baalke" in the stands at every game. You have the entire fan base dressed up like clowns for that final game that we don't speak of. Sorry. Yeah, fans dressing up as clowns to go to games, and now you have your top coaching prospect jumping ship and basically saying, I won't work for this organization because you have this incompetent guy in charge. If Shad Khan isn't, kicking Balky out now after the evidence is right there.
Mhm.
The guy's been
Plain
terrible,
in sight.
and yet you're still gonna keep him on.
Yep.
I don't know what. I don't know what.
It's
I
like
don't know.
how
I don't know what to say.
I talked about this with Calvin a couple of weeks ago when he was on, and it seems like some of the owners just don't care about winning. They don't care about the sport. They don't care about the team. They don't care about the city. They don't care about anything. And
Could be.
you can tell when it's just someone who's just an idiot and doesn't know, or when someone, like Jerry Jones, who's an idiot and just doesn't know, but he also has one because he does care. But then you have people like this and like Snyder who just don't give a single crap about the fans, the organizations. No, they don't care.
Yeah.
And it's so clear.
Well, it isn't like new. They're owners for years have owners for years. There are certain owners who just show like they prefer losing over winning. Like there's a great example of this. I love this story. It's my all-time favorite sports story involving, sports business related matters. The 1997 Florida Marlins won the World Series. They were a stacked team.
Mhm.
Wayne Huizenga, their owner, had he had owned the team since they entered the league in 93. And it only took 40 years for him to be like, you know what? I don't want to own a baseball team anymore. I am bored with it. So the year after they won the World Series, he fudged the numbers to make it look like the team lost more money than they gained. And he forced the team to sell off all their good players. They literally collapsed overnight. They went from like the best team in baseball to the worst team in baseball, and he sold the team. It's like, the people who own sports franchises, these owners, their interests, it's like they're like me as a kid. 1 week I'm really into dinosaurs, the next week I'm really into space. With them, it's like, I really want to own a baseball team. Oh, you know what? I don't really want to. I want to own a football team. No, I don't want to. Oh, but you know what? I'm stuck with them. I might as well make them terrible until they force me to sell. It's like, it's unfortunate.
It makes you feel bad for the fans. It really does.
More teams should follow the Packer method. Have the fans own the team.
Yeah.
Or find a guy who's not a scumbag like Arthur Blake, the Falcons. I do not like the Falcons, but Arthur Blake, you know what? He seems like a genuine guy. He's a genuine owner who really loves the team.
Robert Kraft is one of the others as well.
Yeah, but Robert Kraft has
as a person, as a person,
Yeah, but as an owner, good guy, great owner, but as a person, So some other drama in the NFL this week. A couple of recent things that got pulled up. Kyler Murray scrubbed his Instagram of all pictures or content related to the Arizona Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think of that?
So you have half the people saying this is nothing, and you have half the people saying this says a lot. And I don't think Kyler Murray has any leverage whatsoever to try to move on from Arizona. I don't even know why he is doing this. I haven't heard anything, but I have no idea why all of a sudden he's doing this. Kind of seems almost out of nowhere.
I have no idea what to think about this. Just kind of I either there's two ways to go about this. Either you jump on the bandwagon or like, oh God, he wants out of Arizona. Where's he gonna go? Oh, or you're just like, maybe there's a disagreement with Cardinals management. Probably they'll figure it out. I hope it's the first because he's been great with the Cardinals. But I don't know. After that playoff collapse, I wouldn't be surprised if he's pissed off with the organization.
It's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on for a while.
This offseason is going to be really fun. There's a lot of
Can't
pieces.
wait.
Speaking of offseason stuff, Kylie, every coaching position has been filled.
Yeah.
It took a lot sooner than I thought it would, but every position has been filled up. So with that being said, let's go down all the coaching positions and give our quick thoughts on each one. So, Bears, Matt Eberflus. Eberflus. I don't know how to say
Eberflus.
his last name. Eberflus. Kylie, yay or nay?
That's a bad signing.
Agreed. I think we
I-
we went into heavy detail last week with Eric.
Yep.
But if you want to catch that, you can always watch the previous episode of the Sportsgasm podcast where we talked about that.
Yeah, we have our opinions on him.
Yeah, I think I think that's a meh one too.
Yeah.
Broncos, Nathaniel Hackett.
I don't know how to feel about this one.
Yeah, me neither. I
I
don't know enough
much about him.
Nathaniel Hackett.
I forget.
don't
I don't
know
remember where he was first, where he was from first, where he's leaving.
Let me pull that up. He was the Packers offensive coordinator.
That's
you know
right.
what?
I knew Packers
yeah.
sounded familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? If this ends up being the way that the Broncos get Brett, I almost said Brett Favre. My God, if this is the way that the Broncos end up getting Aaron Rodgers.
So be it.
Good for them. Good for them. And hey, there's new ownership. They're looking for new ownership. They've already got a guy putting together I forgot his name. Crap, I should have put this down on the list. I had a guy there's a guy who's looking to buy the team already.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot.
It's okay. We can talk about it more later, but yeah. This might be a good sign for the Broncos. I genuinely hope that they they do well. And I hope that Drew Lock is their quarterback of the future.
Resident Drew Lock fan still.
I love Drew Lock. Giants, Brian Dabble.
Controversial?
I guess. I mean,
no, not really. We'll see.
It's
I don't know. The Giants are still going to Giants. I think that Daniel Jones isn't the answer, and I think they're going to run it back one more year with him, and then address it in the offseason next year. But we'll see what he does. I don't know how to feel about it. I know how to feel about it, but I don't know what I think about it. I just hope he continues the Giants being bottom feeders.
So I think it's a good pick. I think it's a good hire. The circumstances surrounding his hiring, I don't like.
Right.
The involvement in the Brian Flores scandal, that I'm pissed off about.
Of course.
But I think it's a good hire. You look at what he did in Buffalo. I think the Giants are really wanting an offensive-minded coach going forward. So.
And they needed it
as well. They need it. Yeah, damn right they need it.
Something the Bears should have addressed when they hired their head coach, because they have a quarterback going into a second year in Justin Fields. I really think they should have gone offensive minded, because your defense is already strong.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Raiders, Josh McDaniels. No. Next.
I don't think that's a good one.
We don't even need to comment on that one.
No, we talked about it with Steven.
we know what he's done last time.
Yeah.
So Vikings, Kevin O'Connell.
Interesting. I do hope it works out.
He was the offensive coordinator for the Rams.
Yeah. So he should do well. He might lift Kirk Cousins to above good, but still, I like the Vikings. I love their stadium, but I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this one works out, because he's having success with the Rams, but
yeah, I think it's a good pickup. I think it's a good hire. Jags, Doug Peterson. I know you like this one. one.
This one's also going to be. These are all going to be interesting to watch unfold. But Doug Peterson having Trevor Lawrence, it will be interesting to see, and I really, really hope it works out. I hope he loses to the Colts. But I hope he destroys the Eagles.
You're a weird fan.
I'm a very weird fan.
You are so weird.
No, because look, when the whole drama unfolded with Peterson and Wentz, Peterson probably should have been fired if Wentz was still going to be on the team. I still, to this day, I think they should have run it back one more year, And back then, I was saying Peterson should be fired, but looking back on it, I really think they should have run it back one more year, see what they can do. They owe it to the coach and the player at that point because Peterson won the Super Bowl. Wentz had an MVP caliber season, so they should have just run it back one more year and see what happens. But Eagles fans being Eagles fans, running everybody out of town a little too early. I think it would be closure for me, not for most fans, but for me.
Yeah. I like to see what's good. I'm excited to see what this hire goes.
Yeah,
Definitely better than their last guy.
that's not hard to do though. So
Yeah. So those were the ones we kind of knew about.
Yeah.
But the three that just got filled this past week that we just got to talk about. The Dolphins got San Francisco offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel to be their new head coach. Just want to point out something funny when the news broke with Adam Schefter. He used an interesting phrase to describe Mike McDaniel. Now, Mike McDaniel, okay, is biracial. His dad is black, his mom's white. Adam Schefter phrased it as McDaniel, who identifies as multiracial. That threw me off. I was like,
yeah, I was like, wait, is he some sort of
so is he actually like mixed, or does he only that threw me off for a second. I had to look that up and I was like, okay, he actually is. Why would you phrase it like that, Shefty?
Yeah, dude, it's Schefter. He's been off lately.
He really has.
Yep.
That's what happens when you do Come On Man every Monday night. Like, no offense, but am I the only one who doesn't think Adam Schefter should be part of the Monday Night Football broadcasts?
Come on, man.
That nice. Boo. No, it's because it just feels like, out of anybody, like, he knows so much. When's he gonna slip up and say something he shouldn't?
Right.
That's just my opinion on it. But yeah, I think this is interesting. I think the Dolphins next year, you're gonna see them kind of transform into a very run heavy offensive team. Like McDaniel likes to do. Like the 49ers offense the last couple of years has basically just been run the ball. Barry Sanders the other day on the Jim Rome show was talking about how if he was still playing in a 17-game season, he could break 3,000 yards with that offense, which that's a stretch, I think, but it's Barry Sanders, so we may never know.
Yeah. We'll see.
Texans, Lovie Smith is back in the league.
Yep.
I like that one. I know I'm kind of biased because Smith was the coach of the Bucks and he wasn't the best, but the Bucks were really bad in that era. It wasn't gonna. No one coach was gonna be able to fix it. So I like it. I like Lovie Smith.
Hopefully, maybe this gets Watson to. No, he's not.
Yeah, no, the Texans. The Texans were willing to sabotage an entire season of theirs just to not play him. They're done with him.
Yeah.
The Texans are the one team that seems to be very clear that if somebody is accused of sexual assault, you should probably limit their exposure to the masses until you find out if they actually did it or not. So I think the Texans, they're done with him probably.
Yeah,
which is
I don't see. I understand wanting to try if he is found, innocent, but at this point, I understand, like, just trying to make it work if he is found not guilty, but we'll see. Maybe, who knows at this point.
Yeah. One last coach position to fill. The Saints have decided that defensive coordinator Dennis Allen will be their new head coach to replace Sean Payton. I looked up Dennis Allen and his previous coaching experience. He coached the Raiders for 2 years and he won a grand total of 5 games. That's all you need to know. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, personally, I think it is a fantastic pickup, and I think that the Saints are going to do amazing things next year with Dennis Allen. Just great things. Check that he won a total of 8 games with the Raiders. I just checked it up. But great pickup. Good job, New Orleans. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for choosing a highly qualified coach. That's wonderful. I can't wait to finally beat you in the regular season next year.
Y'all are still going to lose.
Bourbon Street drunkards.
Y'all are still going to lose.
I'm sorry. I know. I
You guys are,
apologize.
you guys
I
are still gonna
apologize.
get your asses
I just
kicked by
hate.
them.
I hate the Saints. I hate the Saints. My hatred for the Saints. It's like you as an Eagles fan. Your hatred for what team do you hate the most?
Cowboys.
Yeah, it's like your hatred of the Cowboys. You know, if I see a Saints fan, I'm immediately like, "Arr, arr." You see, the only difference is that when I see Saints fans, I just get angry and make weird noises. When you see a Cowboys fan, Eagles fans commit assaults and first degree armed robberies.
Yeah, see, but at least your dad isn't a Saints fan like my dad is a Cowboys fan.
I am so sorry, Kylie. I apologize. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's been hell.
Yeah. So those are all the coaches. Couple more things on the NFL we could talk about.
The biggest thing is while Goodell was having his speech today to address all of the issues and the future of the NFL, he did say that the NFL will host games in Munich in 2022, and there will be 4 total games in Germany over 4 years. And there are going to be 2 in Munich and 2 in Frankfurt. And there's also going to be a game in Mexico this coming season. So lots of international games. And it's going to be awesome to watch.
That is awesome. And I'm trying to figure out the last time the NFL played in Germany.
Have they even played in Germany?
They have. I'm trying to remember what it was called.
Or was it the European League? European Football League, is that what it's called?
No, there was the NFL Europe or the World League of American Football. That's what I'm talking about. The NFL like regular season has played. Wait, where was it? It was like back in the trying to find it right now. Here it is. So the American Bowl, that's what it was. So from 1986 to 2005, during the preseason, the NFL would hold exhibition games in international stadiums.
That's right.
And they played in the Tokyo Dome. They played in Olympic Stadium in Montreal, but they did play in Berlin a couple times, and I have it right here. 1990, Rams beat the Chiefs 19-3 at Olympiastadion in West Berlin. 1991, the 49ers played the Bears in Berlin it's the Olympic Stadium, but it's Olympiastadion in German. The Dolphins and Broncos played there in 92. In 93, the Vikings and Bills played there. In 94, the Giants and Chargers. You get the point. So they've played there before. The American Bowl is cool. They played in Tokyo. They played in Mexico City, Sydney, Australia, Vancouver. They even played in Croke Park in Dublin, which is home to Gaelic games in Ireland. So that's cool. I'm excited for this. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny watching international games like in London, and everybody wearing just different jerseys of teams that aren't even playing in that game. And when baseball did that in London with the Yankees and Red Sox, it was awesome. And as a soccer fan, as a Man U fan, I just love international play.
Yeah, I love seeing NFL games being played in weird stadiums.
Yeah.
I remember a couple of years ago in the preseason, they tried to play a game in Winnipeg,
Yeah.
Manitoba, but the game had to be like modified because the end zones were too wide and long, and they forgot Canadian football has slight differences. By the way, if you don't watch Canadian football, this goes to everyone, all of our viewers. If you don't watch Canadian football, check it out. Canadian football is awesome. It's like NFL but on steroids. It's so cool. You know,
Go
if you want
Argonauts.
if you want a team to root for, pick the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They're basically the Green Bay Packers.
Toronto Argonauts.
Ugh, gross. So I think that's everything we wanted to talk about with the NFL, unless you had anything else to add, Kylie.
Well, before the 2018 season, Mike Tomlin was the youngest head coach
Right.
to lead his team to the Super Bowl at 36 years, 323 days. Sean McVay has now broken the record twice.
I'm really fun.
At 33 years, 10 days, and 36 years, 20 days. So he's destroyed the record.
I hope I'm successful as Sean McVay has been in his early 30s when I am that age. I know I still have a while to go before I get there. Before we switch topics to our next couple sports, Kylie, one last pick. Who you going with for the Super Bowl? I know we talked about this last week, but I just want to, it is Super Bowl week. Who you
It
going
is.
with?
I have been back and forth the past week and a half. I love Joe Burrow, love Jamar Chase, and I think that has been blinding me from who I think is actually going to win. I actually think the Rams are going to win. I really
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, so I really think that Aaron Donald, Von Miller are just going to tear up that offensive line, and Ramsey's going to have a field day in the back. Like, that defense is just going to be too much. And it's time for Stafford. It's time for OBJ. It's time for Miller to get his second. Time for Donald to get his first. It's time for the Rams. And everybody on the Rams.
I am 100% backing the Rams. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. The Bengals' lack of an offensive line is going to get them killed. Joe Burrow's brain matter is going to be splattered all over the place. I do think it's going to be a really competitive game.
Yes.
But I think the Rams are going to pull out in the end. I think I said last time I was like 24-16 Rams.
I think it was something. It's going to be close, and it's either way. It's a great story. It's going to be the most watchable Super Bowl that we've had in a long time.
What are you talking about? Chiefs Niners was watchable.
Okay, yeah, but that was a few years ago. But
it was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
that was 2 years ago. I get it. Any Super Bowl with Tom Brady. COVID has warped I know. COVID has warped everyone's time. Yeah, it's weird to think about that.
But other than that one, the Eagles, Patriots had a clear who people wanted to win, pretty much, except for people in Minnesota and New England. The Rams, Patriots, everybody wanted the Rams to. No, they didn't. They wanted the Patriots to win because of the no call. And just throughout the past, years, this is probably the most lovable one. Not watchable, lovable.
I agree.
2 great stories from the quarterbacks, and my cousin's a Broncos fan, so rooting for Von Miller.
Yeah. So, with that being said, we got 3 more sports to cover, and I think we'll start with the NHL. They had their All-Star weekend over the last week. This is the first time I ever had watched the NHL All-Star weekend, and I gotta say, it was really good. I know All-Star games. Exhibition games. It's all for fun. It's a lot of fun. The challenges they had were really interesting. The games themselves were pretty cool. Metropolitan Division did reign supreme. It is a shame. I was rooting for the Atlantic, but it happens. Did you watch any of All-Star Weekend, Kylie?
I didn't. I was busy with work and school. I was watching it at work, and I saw my boy Hughes, and that was fun. My family's all Flyers fans, so I saw that, and I didn't watch much of it, but what I did see was cool.
Speaking of the Flyers, so Claude Giroux.
Giroux.
Did I say Giroux?
Yeah, it's Giroux.
Claude Giroux. Freaking French Canadians, man.
I thought it was Giroux too. My mom corrected
Claude
me.
Giroux might land up in Los Angeles in free agency.
That is going to destroy Flyers fans, let me tell you.
I know. And the Flyers aren't doing that good this year.
No.
He's the one player on their team I think that's watchable. He was their one All-Star. If he's gone, oh boy.
Yeah. And my brother is the most strong Flyers fan out of all my family. And we were talking about this earlier, and you and I were just discussing it with owners not caring. And we think this is another classic situation of owner not caring.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you go from a Stanley Cup, one series away from a Stanley Cup berth to this? It's like the Canadians. I mean,
it's gross. Speaking of the Canadians, did you see they fired their coach finally?
Yeah, I did see that. It happened like just before we started recording too. So
Yeah, there was
ooh,
a lot that was happening right before we were acquiring, and
a
man,
lot.
so we were watching the Devils Canadians game last night at work. Well, you were. I was
Yeah.
actually working. Sorry, I don't mean to throw you under the bus like that, but it's the
Yeah,
truth.
whatever.
But yeah, they got annihilated 7-1 by the Devils, and this is a Devils team that is missing Jake Hughes. Jake Hughes got
Jack
COVID right
Hughes.
after. Did I say Jake? Jack Hughes. Man, I got to learn my hockey names better. I
We're
just
also
so
missing my
everyone.
boy Dougie
Yeah, I
to
mean
a broken jaw.
the Devils, they're missing Dougie due to a broken jaw. Jack Hughes just got diagnosed with COVID at the All-Star break, which is a little concerning because he was on the ice,
Damn it, Jack.
But you're this was a golden opportunity for the Canadiens, or Les Canadiens, to finally do something this season, and instead they get buried 7-1.
Yeah.
And it was funny. I know that there's COVID protocols in Montreal right now that you can't go to the games. I legit
It was weird to see.
I legit thought that just no one had showed up because of how bad the Canadiens have been this season. They are, at the moment, they are the worst team in hockey. They sit with an 8-30-7 record with just 23 points. They are worse than the freaking Coyotes. And that team got locked out of their arena to start the season
They don't
because they
even
were
have
so
a
poor.
stadium.
And just to reiterate how bad this has gotten, the Canadiens, if just so anyone who hasn't watched hockey doesn't know, the Canadiens were in the Stanley Cup Finals last year. The Canadiens played my Lightning in the Stanley Cup Finals. They are now the worst. They have completely collapsed.
Yeah, it's insane to see. They, as you said, they're 8 and you said 30, right?
8-30-7, 8 wins, 30 losses, 7 losses in overtime, which is so weird why the NHL counts that as a separate thing.
Devils only have twice as many wins as them.
Yeah.
So the fact that the Devils are able to drop 7 on them shows you how bad they really are.
It's atrocious what's happened up there.
I mean, people who don't even score are having a field day. Like,
and this is something I feel like we need to get somebody. We need to get a Canadiens fan or some hockey fans in to explain this. Again, I'm more new to hockey. I've watched the Lightning for a while, but I've not been super into it, and I'm trying to get more into it. And I'm trying to wrap my head around what happened to the Canadiens. Why
we all are.
Yeah, it's so. If anyone's listening and is a big hockey fan and knows the answer, please contact us. We'd love to have you on the show to talk about the Canadiens.
Yeah.
A quick look at the standings in hockey right now. The Atlantic Division is getting really hot up front because it was once a runaway for the Panthers, but now it's a three-way duel for first place between the Panthers, Lightning, and the Maple Leafs. Okay.
Good. I want the Maple Leafs to have some success. They deserve it.
Yep. Boston currently sits in the wild card spot, but they have to hurry a bit because Detroit is starting to catch up. That Detroit team is looking very, very it's a young Red Wings team. They're starting to look exciting.
See, this brings, my concern about the Devils to a front because you have the was it the Rangers or the Islanders? I always mix those two up, but they had the second overall pick when we had the first overall pick, and we got Jack Hughes and they got Keiko. And the Red Wings, who were like awful, had like the fourth overall pick because they got screwed in the lottery when they should have had the first overall pick, and now they're doing this, and we're still bottom feeders.
Detroit has. I mean, we talked about it on our very first episode. Detroit has hired most of their dynasty team members as front office guys. They know what they're doing. They know what makes a good hockey team.
Yeah, I'm glad to see it's working out because I said sometimes mostly it doesn't. But
the rest of the Atlantic Division right now, I mean, Ottawa and Buffalo are pretty bad, and then Montreal's garbage. Metropolitan, it's a 2-man race right now between the Hurricanes and the Rangers. Pittsburgh, Washington, and Columbus are all vying for those that last spot in the wild card spot. Islanders are struggling. Philly and the Devils are bad. Sorry. Out west, Avalanche are the best team in hockey right now, 32-8-4. They are awesome.
Wow.
They are awesome. Nashville, Minnesota, St. Louis, and Dallas are all vying for the last playoff spots out there. So it's, the usual suspects out in the Central.
Yeah.
Winnipeg is pretty average, and Chicago and Arizona are, well, they're bad. And the Pacific continues to be a bloodbath with almost every team in the division vying for first place. Vegas, Los Angeles, Anaheim, Calgary, Edmonton, San Jose, and Vancouver are all in its fierce dual first place. San Jose and Vancouver are a bit back because they've been struggling a bit. The only team out of the hunt right now is Seattle, but expansion team doesn't count.
And
They're
Jack
still
Eichel hasn't even played for the Knights yet.
yeah.
But he was seen in a no contact jersey for practice. So
that's good.
coming on soon.
That's good. Just want to note some like games you should look ahead to this week if you want to watch some hockey. Unfortunately, most of these games are on ESPN Plus, so if you're not, you have to check your local networks. But I'm just looking ahead. Tomorrow, well, when this tonight, if you're listening when we post this tonight, because we're
So
recording this
Thursday.
today, Thursday night. Yeah,
The
Thursday
10th.
night. Yeah, Maple Leafs Flames at 9 p.m. should be a good one. But the big one, of course, potential Stanley Cup preview: Lightning versus Avalanche. I say that as a massive Lightning fan, hoping to God we get it. Let's see what else we got this coming week that you should definitely check out. Big schedule, lots of games. Hurricanes in the Wild on Saturday. That should be pretty good. Unfortunately, most of these games are on ESPN Plus, so you're gonna have to have a subscription. It's a shame. I remember when hockey was free. Remember when hockey was free to watch?
Yes.
Yeah. I will say the TNT games on Wednesdays have been a lot of fun. And
I
next
hate the
Wednesday's game.
TNT app though. It's so annoying.
Well, next Wednesday's games have a massive game in the East: Panthers, Hurricanes.
Ooh.
That's going to be huge. And then you have the Avalanche and the Golden Knights. So next Wednesday, the leaders of each conference are playing each other. Panthers, Hurricanes, Avalanche, Golden Knights, and they're all going to be on live national television. So
Wow.
at least we get something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that people have been talking about is the U.S. and Canadian hockey teams are struggling in the Olympics because we don't have our NHL players.
Yeah. So currently well, they're not struggling. They're expected to struggle. So,
yeah.
The games haven't started yet. USA and Canada are in the same group. They're playing in Group A with China and Germany, but they're expected to struggle because the NHL players aren't playing this year. Meanwhile, the Russian players are, and Russia just beat Switzerland. It looks like, yeah, they just beat Switzerland this morning, in the first games for ice hockey. So at least we have the women's teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, we should be able to have our NHL players represent our countries.
Well, it's politics getting involved again, I guess.
Politics, COVID,
Yeah.
a whole bunch of crap. But the biggest thing that also the biggest thing that happened we mentioned is the Habs firing their coach right before we went on air, and it's about time.
Yeah, a lot of stuff actually happened just before we went on air to record this, including some stuff in the NBA involving the trade deadline. I want to talk about this because it just happened as we're recording. We got a Woj bomb. The trade deadline is tomorrow, or if you're watching today, if you're watching this now. And as we're recording this, Woj bomb just dropped. A 3-way trade. Utah is sending Joe Ingles and Elijah Hughes to Portland. Portland is sending Tomas Satoransky to San Antonio. San Antonio is sending Nikhil Alexander Walker and Juancho Hernan Gomez to the Jazz. I think Portland's the only one that wins.
I agree.
Yeah, that's Joe Ingles is the only notable player from that. Like, no offense to Nikhil Alexander Walker or Tomas Satoransky, but I don't know who you people are.
Yeah. But the biggest trade that's happened so far is the Pacers trade Sabonis, Jeremy Lamb, and Justin Holiday to Sacramento in exchange for Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson. What are the Kings doing?
getting cleaning house, purging the old guard, getting rid of everything they've built over the last couple of years. All of the above.
Yeah. It there's no reason because it's nothing's for a Ben Simmons trade for the Kings, so they can't be. So that definitely leaves Ben Simmons out of the Kings. But it was such a bad trade.
Is it though? Because I mean, Domantas Sabonis is a pretty good player.
Yeah, but look who they got: Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson. I mean,
true. I mean, and
it's.
I saw somewhere on Twitter that I think it was either Tyrese or Buddy who was like in tears after finding out they were being traded.
Tyrese.
It was Tyrese. Yeah, that's a shame. Like Sacramento is one of those small markets that you don't think a lot about them because it's the Kings. They haven't been relevant since the early 2000s, and everybody knows it. But this is the kind of team that like players who go there, they embrace it. They know they're like the ultimate underdogs. They know we haven't won a championship since 1951 when we weren't even in Sacramento yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think I never realized how much some players liked playing in Sacramento until I saw this tweet and I was like, damn, y'all really embrace Sacramento. That's got guts because that team has been terrible. But
yeah, it really has. But the early deadline train was CJ McCollum was traded to the Pelicans.
Yeah, it's they're I'm glad they're getting some of the bigger ones out of the way early.
Yeah.
We all know what trade we want. We all know what trade we're waiting for. James Harden to Philly. But
here's the thing with that though. There have been I have been on Twitter. Like I've been off work. I didn't work today, obviously. So
lucky.
I have been on Twitter the entire day looking at like refreshing my page of rumors and stuff. I follow a whole bunch of Philly Twitter accounts and I have those tweet notifications on and I've just been looking at rumors and everything and I don't know anymore. I don't know. You got Woj saying he'd be surprised if there is a deal. You got, I forget his name, saying that I think his name Windhurst, saying that a deal is like at the 1 yard line pretty much. And you have some Sixers accounts saying it's unlikely that it's gonna happen.
And apparently they have just sorry. Don't mean to interrupt, but breaking news live as we're doing it. We were talking about the Habs firing their coach. Guess who the Habs just hired as their new coach?
What? That was quick.
Tampa Bay legend Martin St. Louis. He's been named interim head coach. Let's go. Let's go. Lightning legend Martin St. Louis.
Wow, that was quick.
I might have to root for the Habs now. That's a great hire. I love Martin St. Louis. He was the face of our franchise. He won us our first Stanley Cup. That's awesome. But back to James Harden and Philly. The sports world is amazing, folks. We're literally recording this right now. We just got the news. One of my buddies that I'm in my fantasy basketball group chat with said that he read somewhere that James Harden was like screaming at Philly, got into a scream match with Philly executives like trade me, and he's like, they need to address this in the new CBA. They need to get a handle on players demanding trades like this because it's getting to the point where it's getting it's getting frightening. We've seen all season with James Harden, Ben Simmons, having this whole mental health breakdown that may or may not be actual mental health breakdown because he doesn't want to play for Philly anymore.
It's not a mental health breakdown.
We saw that with Jimmy Butler a couple of years ago when he was like furious in Minnesota.
Then look who got Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, my Heat.
No, we got Jimmy Butler.
Oh right, y'all did. I completely
forgot.
I
loved him. And I
forgot he played. I honestly forgot he played for Philly for a year. I forgot.
Philly didn't forget.
No.
Ben Simmons. Yeah, Ryan Windhurst says that James Harden wants a trade and his actions over the last 10 days are basically a threat to the Nets. And he is screaming in every way he possibly can to get out of Brooklyn. According to Brian Windhurst, he is the only one reporting that. So it could be sources, trust me, bro, but I'm hoping it's not. As a Sixers fan, I am believing these rumors. I am getting my hopes up. I am already buying a jersey. It's not going to be number 13 though because of Wilt Chamberlain. So I don't know what he's going to pick, but
We'll have to wait and see.
whatever
I
jersey
just
he gets, whatever number he picks, I'm buying.
So just in preparation of trade deadline, one of the best days of the year for NBA fans, I have
Yes.
already put notifications on for Waj. I'm ready. We will be retweeting every trade, giving
Yes.
our thoughts on it on Twitter.
Yep.
Last things to talk about in baseball, not baseball. Well, we're gonna get to baseball in a bit, but before we get there, last thing about basketball, a new trophy was just announced for the NBA All-Star Game, and they named it in honor of the man himself, Kobe Bean Bryant. It's good.
Miss you,
Well,
Kobe.
miss you too. Miss him. Baseball. That sport is happening, right? Right? Question mark?
No.
No.
But Bryce Harper posted on his Instagram story that time of the year. So maybe he's just getting things ready and moving just in case. And
Maybe that federal mediator that they got to resolve the lockout actually is working. Yes,
did
they
they
got
actually get the
defensive.
mediator?
I think they did. They got a federal They announced they requested a federal mediator to resolve the lockout.
But Max Scherzer tweeted he was like, "We don't need one. This is what we want."
Well, clearly, Max Scherzer isn't in charge of Major League Baseball.
But here's my thing: do a 1 year CBA, just 1 year interim CBA, just to get the spring training and everything started, have everything start on time.
But it feels like at that point you're just continuing to push back the inevitable because there's going to be another lockout then, if it's only a one year.
But you can focus on it for the entire. You have an extra year to focus on it instead of being pressured.
You're assuming that Rob Manfred and Major League Baseball will be like, oh yeah, we'll sit down to talk. And oh look, the Yankees with new acquisition Freddie Freeman are on.
I know they're looking at him.
I know, and I'm excited. I want him to come here. I want him to come to the Yankees. But then
I
remember
Braves fans to cry.
I then remember that every time the Yankees sign a big name free agent who's past their prime, it doesn't go well. I'm still remembering the Ichiro years.
Ichiro, I love Ichiro.
I miss him. One other, I love him too. He's so great. One other thing about baseball news should mention: the MLB announced that they're no longer testing players for steroids.
That makes me mad. So
yeah, what the hell?
I have been, on the side, steroids. Obviously, you should not use steroids. Yeah, you still need to hit the baseball. You still need to see it and everything, but you're using steroids, which make you stronger, so the ball goes a lot farther. And I have been on the, Barry Bonds doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame train. I have ridden that train. That is the stance I'm on, because it diminishes the being in the Hall of Fame. It diminishes the sport of baseball. And now that Barry Bonds is no longer eligible, you stop testing players?
Yeah, it is definitely a slap in the face. It's basic. I don't know what the deal is. I guess Major League Baseball just had a vendetta against Barry Bonds or something.
They have one against Pete Rose too.
Yeah. I don't know at this point.
It's just frustrating because if you're not going to test for steroids, then you're telling people it's okay to take shortcuts to get strong, and you're saying that. I mean, it takes out, put Barry in the Hall of Fame now, I guess, because clearly you no longer care about steroids.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
It's atrocious.
One last thing about baseball to talk about. This is a bit of a serious topic, but we should mention it because it did happen. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office has decided that it will not criminally charge Trevor Bauer for the incident he was involved in. Major League Baseball, of course, is still investigating. Now, I actually had not heard about this case for some reason. I don't know why. Probably because I'm stupid. But I finally found out the details last night. You told me.
Mm-hmm.
This is a weird one. I think that's the most I can say without saying anything that'll probably get us kicked off of Spotify. But let's just say that kids set boundaries
Yeah,
whenever you plan to do certain
adult
activities.
activities.
And if someone says no, I'm uncomfortable, please listen to them. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
But
that was a weird one to look at. I did
it's
not know the
interesting
details, and now that I know the details, I think I need to scrub my eyes.
because the LA District Attorney found him innocent. I think the MLB will probably end up doing that, and um, if they do that, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him, where he goes, if he goes anywhere, whatever
Yeah,
team signs him. Like, are they willing to take the risk of an entire fan base's backlash?
yeah.
I wouldn't, but
We'll have to see what happens.
yeah, it's one to watch out for sure.
There's a lot of stuff. Once baseball season hikes up, it's going to be really exciting. Before we finish, it is time for the best segment of the show. Goobers of the week. We have 4 nominees.
One for each.
Number 1.
No, we don't.
Yeah, 1 for each sport, actually. What?
Almost.
We thought.
Yeah.
1, Rob Manfred, always and forever. Rob Manfred.
Yep. Congrats.
Number 2, the NFL Pro Bowl, because nobody wants to watch players touching each other. That came out wrong. No one wants to watch players 2 hands touch each other. We want to see people actually hitting each other. Fix your all-star system, NFL. Gosh.
Yeah.
Number 3, the Sacramento Kings, for taking all of the young talent they have accumulated over the years and just shipping it away, completely dashing the hearts of their fan bases as they attempt to chase after rings with guys they got from the Pacers. And number 4, Alvin Kamara, for,
beating the crap out of that guy.
Yeah. It's funny. I wish we had more funny goobers of the week.
Canadians.
The Canadians, yeah, you can put them into the Canadians for being just downright terrible. But yeah, personally, out of those 4, I think I'm going to take the Pro Bowl because it was just hilarious watching.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you know what? Who Goober of the Week is? You know who Goober of the Week is? Mac Jones, for doing the gritty into the end zone of the Pro Bowl. That was the most cringy thing I've ever seen. Look, the gritty is a fine dance. I'm cool if you do it, but you got to have some swagger to you when you do it, or else you're just going to look like Mac Jones. And
that's not as bad as Rob Manfred existing.
Bless his heart, he's trying, but all right, Kylie, take us home.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. That concludes this week's episode. Again, thank you, Stephen at Elspeth, for hopping on. You were awesome. If you liked what you heard, tune in next week and maybe check out that support button to help us grow and improve. That'd be awesome. You can watch this whole thing and more on YouTube. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, at SportsgasmPod. We'll be asking questions for future episodes and posting them on the socials. And we will be live tweeting about the NBA trade deadline on the 10th, and that ends at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be on the lookout for that as well. These podcasts always drop at around noon if it's at Eastern Standard Time. If it's a 2-parter, it's going to be dropping one part at noon, the other part at around 1 or 2 o'clock. So be on the lookout for that as well. Have a great rest of your week.
Yeah. Remember, if you ever want to interact with us or you ever want to be on the show, give us a ring. We're always looking for new fans who want to come on and talk about their favorite teams.
Our DMs are open.
Or if you want to just stick around to talk about all of the sports that we talk about on the show, be our guest. We'd love to have people on. Kylie, it's been great talking with you once again. See y'all next week.
Bye, guys.